Hello everybody. Organization and management of early childhood education centers. Today under this we are going to deal with the topic requirements for child care centers. The objective of this lesson is to understand what are all the requirements when we want to start a early childhood education center. Early childhood education centers or preschools. They provide an introduction to schooling for children between the age groups of 2 to 6 years of age. The preschools are different from the daycare centers because they are more limited in the ages of attending the children. So, the children not only attend for a few hours per day, but there is usually a specific educational focus also, and there is a curriculum also in these early childhood education centers. These schools or the centers are usually licensed by the state, and also they require staff with some educational background or experiences. Early childhood centers or a preschool center is caring for the child, supervision of the child or the children from the age group from 6 weeks to 12 years. The child care is the action or the skill of looking after the children by daycare center, or they can be a babysitters or other providing of the services. The majority of child care institutions that are available require the child care providers have extensive training in the first aid also, and they are to be certified. The early child care is very important and it is often overlooked component of child development. The child care providers are the children's first teachers, and therefore they are going to play a integral role in our system of early childhood education. The quality of care from young age can have a huge impact on the future success of the child. So, before starting, decide on what type of daycare you want to open first. Factoring depends upon the time capacity, the financial restraints and the personal preferences, and you can choose from two types of daycares. One is the home daycare and the second one is the daycares operated from homes, and they offer home-like environments for the children. They are typically very small and usually open to kids from the neighborhood. A daycare center or a commercial daycare center. If you want to open a daycare which is a commercial one, they are to be operated from commercial spaces, and they can accommodate more children and bring in more revenues, which allows to hire more employees. So, first you have to decide what type of care the institute is going to provide, and after that understanding of licensing requirements of the state. To legally operate a daycare center, it is necessary to obtain a license which must be renewed each year. The licensing requirements are different for home daycare centers or commercial daycare centers, and the research and requirements in the area for the type of the daycare you wish to operate. To obtain the license, you have to undergo a home or facility, a safety inspection, and prove that your operation is following the laws of the state where the center is to be opened, and it has to be demonstrated that the center has certain ratio of adult caretakers to the children. The requirements vary with the age of the children. It is required to file all the necessary paperwork and submit some fees to complete this licensing process. So, this is about how to start a daycare center. The license after issued to opening of a specific center or representative at a specific location, it shall not be transferable. When two or more buildings are utilized to accommodate the centers operated by the same sponsor or representative, the sponsor or representative shall apply to the Office of the Licensing either a separate license for each center in each building or a single license covering all the buildings that comprise a single center or a single unit, and provide that the buildings are on the same property and the programs have the same director, and the office of the licensing determines that the issue of the single license would be detrimental or would not be detrimental depending on the safety, well-being and the development of the children that are going to be served by these centers. A center shall not be located near or adjacent to areas determined by the office of the licensing. These areas which may be hazardous to the physical health and safety of the children. Then the requirements for co-location of the center within a multiple use of the building are: the sponsor or the representative of that center, that is, has to seek or locate in a multi-usable building and shall indicate on the application that the nature of the co-location. Prior to approving the site, the office of the licensing shall determine that the multi-use site does not pose a serious risk to the health, safety or well-being of the children. The office of licensing may require the center to operate in a separate room, the floor and the section of the building, or to have a separate entrance, a separate toilet facility, and the building should meet any other physical plant, staffing, the program or other operational requirements that are deemed necessary to protect the children from serious risk of harm stemming from the co-location. The sponsor or the representative of the center has been approved to be located in a multi-useful building shall notify the office of the licensing officer. Let us see what are the physical requirements for all centers. The first one is the indoor maintenance and sanitation requirements. The center shall be free of moisture resulting from water leakages or seepage. The floors, carpeting, the walls, the windows, coverings, ceilings and any other surfaces shall be kept clean and good repair. The stairways shall be free of tripping hazards such as the toys, boxes, loose steps, uneven treads, torn carpeting, raised strips or uneven risers. And then the carpet shall be securely fastened to the floor. The garbage receptacles shall be made durable, leak proof and non-absorbent material, and it should be covered in a secured manner. The center should be free of the rodent and insect infestation and shall take immediate action to remove if there is any infestation that may occur, and that the center shall maintain a file of record documenting the use of extermination services also. And all the corrosive agents, insecticides or bleaches or detergents or polishes or any products under pressure in a aerosol spray can be toxic substances shall be stored in a locked cabinet or in a enclosure located in an area that is not accessible to the child. And another requirement for the center is that all the windows and any other glass surfaces that are not made of safety glass and that are located within 36 inches above the floor shall have protective guards. Installing the window guards with approval of local fire and official or providing an alternative method to ensure that the children cannot fall off the windows. And another important requirement for the center is to ensure that the window blind cords or the cords or rope items that present risk of harm are inaccessible to the child. All the balconies, rooftops, verandas and all the floor levels used by the children that are above the first floor and the subject the children to an open door shall be protected by barriers consisting of the safety glass or any other material which is approved by the office of licensing. Such barriers shall extend to at least 5 feet above the floor level. And it is important to ensure that all the micro ovens, toaster ovens and other portable devices used to heat or prepare food are out of the children's reach, secured on a stable surface and not in use when the children are in the area, in order to ensure the safety of the children. So, this is about the physical requirements that has to be kept in mind before starting the early childhood center. The building, land, walkways and outdoor play area, it should be free from hazards to the healthy, safety and well-being of the child. The outdoor play area shall be graded or provided with drains to dispose of any surface water, and the building structure shall be maintained to prevent the water from entering, excessive drafts or heat loss, and from infestation from rodents and insects. And the railings of balconies, landings, porches or steps shall be maintained in a safe condition. The garbage receptacles shall be made of durable, leak-proof and non-absorbent material, covered in a secured manner and located in an outdoor area, and it has to be maintained in a sanitary condition. And the center that provides outdoor space shall maintain in a proper condition all the fencing and other natural or man-made barriers or enclosures. The lighting requirements. The lighting requirements of a center is that all the fluorescent tubes or incandescent light bulbs shall have a protective cover or shields. During the program activities, at least 20-foot candles of natural or artificial light shall be provided in all the rooms which are used by the children. This illumination shall be measured 3 feet above the floor at the farthest point from the light source. The heating requirements. A minimum temperature of 68 degree Fahrenheit shall be maintained in all the rooms used by the children. The steam and hot water pipes and radiators shall be protected by screens, guards or any other suitable protective device. The center shall not use portable liquid fuel burning or wood burning heating appliances or any other electrical space heaters. So, this is about the outdoor requirements before starting a early childhood education center. Then comes the kitchens. A kitchen used in the center shall be provided with the necessary equipment for preparation, storage, serving and cleaning up of all the meals for all the children and the staff regularly served by such kitchen. The center shall have a hand wash sink in the food preparation area and a separate sink used for the food preparation and dishwashing. The food preparation areas and appliances shall be cleaned following each prepared meal. The kitchen shall have a refrigeration to keep the food cold, and there shall be a working thermometer in all the refrigerators. The center where the children eat lunches prepared at home shall provide an adequate refrigerated storage for such lunch. A center shall ensure that all the eating, drinking and cooking utensils are thoroughly cleaned, rinsed, sanitized after each use and stored in a clean place. A center should ensure that all the dishes, cups, glasses used by the children in care shall be free from the cracks or defects or some type of chips. The center should discard a single service napkins or bibs or dishes and utensils after use. Washable napkins, bibs or tablecloths shall be cleaned after use. The center should ensure that all the plastic dinnerware shall be either a single service or approved by the National Sanitation Foundation. The storage areas for the food in the center should be clean, free of food particles, dust and dirt. All the food items should be stored in a closed or sealed containers which are labeled. All the food items should be stored off the floor. The food items shall be stored separately from cleaning materials. The kitchen areas in a center should be constructed and supervised to prevent access by the child. Then the storage. A center shall store all the drugs, the poisons, the solvents and any other hazardous material in a safe manner out of the reach for the children, and a separate storage for the personal belongings shall be provided with adequate individual storage space so that the clothing or bedding used by the child does not come in contact with that used by the other children. This is about the kitchen facilities that has to be provided and storage facilities that has to be provided in a child care centers. A center should ensure that the interior space designated for the use of the children is available to the children, and when the center is in operation, it should have at least 35 square feet of indoor space for the child. The measurements shall be from wall to wall from inside. The toilet rooms, the kitchen areas, isolation areas, the offices, the storage spaces, the hallways or any other rooms that are not used by the children for sleep or play on routine basis shall not be counted in computing the required square footage. The floors of all rooms in a center should have a surface which is safe and cleanable. And coming to the sleeping accommodation, a center should ensure that each child except those who are school age children who do not sleep in the center has a clean, age appropriate individual rest equipment such as cribs or playpens or cot beds or mat or some type of bedding. A child's rest equipment should be labeled with the child's name and used only by the child while he is enrolled in the program. All the cots, beds, mats and mattresses should be cleaned and sanitized at least bi-monthly and when they are wet or soiled. The rest equipment and bedding should be cleaned and sanitized even prior to it is being assigned to any other child. The sleeping mats should be stored so that there is no contact with the sleeping surfaces of any other mat or disinfected mat each after use. A center should ensure that the cribs are not stacked while in use. The cribs and playpens should be placed to allow gaps and it should be larger than 2 to 3 inches. The cribs and playpens shall have a top rails of at least 19 inches above the mattresses with the mattresses set at its lowest position and the side rail locked in the highest position. This is about the sleeping requirements a center is needed to provide for the children who are getting enrolled in the program. Let us see what are the toilet facilities a center should provide. A center should have enclosed toilet rooms inside the building on the same floor as the play areas, and these toilet rooms or restrooms should not have locks within the child's reach. And the center should also have a hand washing area to ensure that the staff or the children wash their hands with soap and running water and use a single service towels for drying their hands. The hands has to be washed before eating or handling the food, after toileting and after coming into contact with any blood, fecal matter or urine or vomiting or any other body secretions. So, this is about the hand washing requirements that has to be provided by the center. The center shall develop and provide a variety of children planned activities that are geared to the ages and developmental levels of the children that are served in the center. The programs should promote the development of language, thinking and problem solving skills, curiosity and development of large and small muscles coordination and movement skills, the social competence, the self-esteem and positive self-identity. The program requirements should be relevant to the cultural background of the child, and it should foster the intercultural awareness among the children. Both the staff directed and the child selected activities should be provided by the center, and the center should encourage the children to participate in every group activity and provide them with the time and space within the area to be apart from that group and to participate in any alternate activity if they choose to do so. The children are provided with daily structured and unstructured developmentally appropriate indoor and outdoor energetic physical activities. So, for this at least 30 total minutes of the daily for child receiving and child care less than 4 hours. At least 60 minutes daily for the child receiving and child care more than 4 hours, and whenever feasible, unless the child is eating or sleeping or the needs to complete a seated activity, or when the child is ill, the children shall not be inactive for more than 30 minutes, and the use of the television and the computers or any other video equipment should be limited to the educational and instructional use only, and it should be the developmentally appropriate, and the center should not be used as a substitute for planned activities or for passive viewing of the programs. The program equipment for the child's daily activities. The center should provide a supply of age appropriate, developmentally appropriate program equipment, and the equipment should include the play equipment, child size furnitures and supplies, like they should be sufficient to meet the daily activities and needs of the child and the program, and they should be non-toxic and safe for the use by the children in the age groups which they are being served. Then comes about the food and nutrition. All the centers should provide requirements for food and nutrition. The food served to the children who are present during the normal mealtime hours or required for the snack periods should be specified, and if the center chooses to provide the food, it should ensure that the food served to the children is prepared by the center on site or off site. If the center chooses to have the parents providing the food, the center should have a supply of food at the center for any child whose parent might forget giving lunch to the child. If the center is providing the food, the center should ensure that the food is stored, prepared and served in a sanitary manner. The staff members shall advise the parents of any repetitive feeding problems experienced by the child. A snack shall be served to all the children who are under the center's care for at least 3 consecutive hours for all children who are served after school basis. And then the most important, drinking water. Drinking water should be made available to all the children in the center, and the center should provide meals for the children, special diets. For example, due to health reasons or religious beliefs or on parental request, an alternative choice of food should be prepared either by the center or the child's parents, and individualized written diets and feeding schedules, if submitted to the center by the child's parents or the healthcare provider, should be posted in a location that is accessible to the staff members caring for the children. So, today we have understood what are all the requirements that are needed for starting a child care center. First, we have understood what is a definition of early childhood education center or a preschool center or a child care center. So, before starting any center, the aim or the age or the type of care you need to provide to the children should be understood and well defined. Then we have understood, first we have to take the licensing from the licensing officer depending on the location, and then we have understood what are all the physical requirements for starting a early childhood education center. Then we have understood the outdoor maintenance and requirements. Then we have understood what are all the kitchen requirements in an early childhood education center should have. And we have understood the storage facilities and the toilet facilities that should be provided by the center to the children who are getting enrolled. And then we have understood what are all the program requirements for the children who are getting enrolled into the center. So, today we have learnt all the requirements starting from licensing to the program requirements of a child in an early childhood education center. Hope you have understood the lesson. Thank you.